allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're here this evening for a public hearing on proposed local law number 1 of 2023, a tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers. I'd like to get us started with a roll call.
Councilman Boulders.
Here.
Councilwoman DeShane is absent tonight. Councilman Hoyt.
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski, I'm assuming will join us after, and Supervisor Butler.
Here. Local law number 1, is that where we are? Aren't we 3 at this point? No, 1, okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, does anyone have any public comment for a public hearing? No? Okay.
No, I already asked the attorney, he gave me my answer that I was looking for.
What?
I asked how long you had to be on the rescue squad or the fire department before you could take the exemption. And he said it was in the law and it's 2 years.
Of active duty. Well, you have to be in already 2 years. Because otherwise, somebody could see this law getting adopted and then join and say, I want my exemption. So you got to do 2 years before you qualify. Prior to the exemption, and then do you still have to be active in your response? Well, this came up, Madam Supervisor, may I
Absolutely, yes,
elaborate a little?
Yes.
Just real quick on this local law was approved by the state just last year. You couldn't Right. do this before. Right. So a lot of municipalities have been adopting it, and the question came up, well, what about somebody who was active, but then did their 20 years or whatever, they're kind of retired? They still might qualify, as long as you did enough years. So that's in the law too. Who makes that determination? The Whoever- state? No, the person, whoever is the head of your particular department, if it's a fire department versus an ambulance department. So the chief or the captain? You got it. They have to sign a form and give it to the assessor saying this person qualifies. So then I would think each agency would have to write a policy relating to,
Well, you have to
This-
follow the state policy,
correct,
but each entity has to keep track of their people. For example, in order to qualify for certain firefighters, you have to do a certain number of calls or training, etc.
Sure.
So each fire department should already have that policy in place, I hope. Uh-oh, all right, I'm not going there. But that's what this local law will do. It'll help people that own real estate. So if you're a person who doesn't own real estate,
yeah,
this
it's
law
of
doesn't
no
do
value.
anything. Right.
So you're better off taking your state exemption.
Taking the credit, state
Right.
income tax and federal, or state income tax credit.
Correct, which is $200.
Correct. Now that, the state is also pushing to raise. I wish they would raise it higher, but I'm hearing it's only gonna go to 500. Is that what you guys? I heard 500. I would love it if it went to more like 2,500 or something like that.
You're
You
a
know.
funny guy.
No, I'm serious. You're gonna find, well, can I ask a question to you guys? Who's either a volunteer firefighter or ambulance? You know how many people are volunteering these days, not
None.
like the old days.
I'm an appointed deputy EMS coordinator for the county as well.
I gotta tell you, then you know. So
I know.
that's the whole thinking behind these kinds of laws. It's to give an incentive for people to volunteer. So on this particular law, who's it gonna benefit the most? People who have real estate, people who have higher income real estate, higher value.
Sure.
Now, this one won't really take effect until 2025. Before that, because this doesn't really have an assessment date until next March. So next March's assessment date isn't for 24, it's for 25. So the state, or excuse me, the county is doing one tomorrow night that will try and make the effective date retroactive so that people could try and claim it in 2024.
Oh,
This one follows the standard pattern, and 2025 is the date. If this board wanted to try and follow what the
County is doing, they could. They would just have to adopt that law before the end of this year. So, but is New York State Office of Real Property Services going to say that that's okay to do, make it retroactive, non-pro-tunc is the terminology? I don't know. Any other questions on this one? Nope. Okay.
So 2025. Oh, that makes sense though. It gives the people the time to get in and get their 2 years in before it becomes.
Plus, it gives the assessors time to come up with the forms they're gonna have to come up with, the fire departments to come up with their forms. Now, the state has some samples they can use, but it gives people time.
I mean, that makes sense to me, but knowing how government works.
True. Nobody else wants to say anything on this one?
I'm
Is
surprised
that locked?
No.
They just walked away.
They should be able to just.
personnel aren't here.
Unless it popped back out. Not back. Sorry. No, I thought it.
No, it was unlocked when I came in.
Maybe somebody thought I didn't unlock it. Oh, where did I?
Hey, hi, how are you? I didn't know you were out here in South Sweeney or something. Yeah, what's you doing out there?
I am.
How are things?
Things are really good.
Good.
How about with you?
Same stuff to me there. You know,
It's super quiet hotel.
in County and us, you know, how that goes.
Not anymore.
Yeah, well, you don't.
I do. I remember.
Probably would have come 15 minutes, you know what I mean? Yeah. Do you, hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Do you have,
I'm so quiet.
you are quiet?
No, I'm not quiet.
Do you have something you'd like to say or comment on the,
No, I'm here for your 7 o'clock meeting for your,
okay.
to finally introduce myself.
Okay. Good. Good, good. Well, we're going to go another 5 minutes with our public hearing for local law number 1 of 2023, which is certain property tax breaks for volunteer first responders.
Ooh,
That's what we're doing right now.
Mark's doing well. He's improving.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was holding the rest of it. I saw him, I think it was your friend. Oh, hello.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh. He's like,
Yeah. Very
it's
nice.
not been what it's supposed to it was. Oh, yeah, down the road. Yeah. Right now he's in there for his.
Yeah, she's gonna report. The only thing
Yeah, and he can't close them all the way. Push back all the way. But it looks no, he's a very strong man. He's a study
They're
for
sponsoring the whole, they're sponsoring.
military.
So what they did
This
is
was
they
supposed to
went out
ask
to
me
Gary
for
Johnson,
study.
the
So
band leader.
whenever they,
Last
And
yeah,
on
so
the back,
whenever
the
they
rural
did for
voice,
him,
because
really,
it's not a donation to the town, it's
Wow.
going directly to us.
because
Okay.
he's way
That-
ahead
I
of
mean,
me.
that's how they did it.
It's awesome.
Okay, yeah, because I had no idea.
No, that's good though.
And I made a copy and we, I think we got another one.
What is the question?
The question is we have a donor for the and because they're
I feel like to make things up as they go along.
they want to check
Whatever
out to
fits.
the band
All right.
and then put the name of the band here. But they also put the town and recreation committee here because it was, we asked them for that. So is it okay if I have Gary
Well, here's the question. This is not a lawyer's question, this is a banking question. So this check, as drafted,
Can you hold it for
oh,
3
sure,
minutes?
sorry, absolutely. Well, here's the issue. If the check is drafted, two people's names, you're supposed to have both of them sign, and then one of them's got to deposit it to an account, which account are you going to put it in?
Well, it was because it's written out to Gary.
Here's what I would do. It's written out to the town, too.
Yeah.
I would put it through the town fund, have the town and cut a check to Gary. Didn't the town approve Gary being the guy or no?
No, this was, it was.
Give the check back to the people. Have them make it out just to Gary, because then they're paying Gary directly.
Or why couldn't I have Jen sign it too?
Who's Jen?
Jen is the chairman of the committee.
Because you can't.
You can't.
You can't, because then the town would be getting funds
Gotcha.
and this other person together. Whereas if they just give the check back and it's made out to Gary, it'd be like anybody volunteering to.
That's what I asked them to do and put under the memo on Rec and Recreation Committee, but you got a little confused, I guess.
Well, that's what I would do. Give the check back, have it issued directly to the performer, and then the town doesn't have to be involved. The performer would be almost like
Right, I
performing
know,
for
there's
free.
nothing you can do.
Yeah, and I was.
Oh, the public hearing?
Well, it's all.
People learn something.
Does anyone have anything else to say? We're gonna close in about a minute.
On the public hearing?
On the public hearing.
Nope.
All right, I would like to make a motion to close the public hearing on local law number 1 of 2023. May I have a second? Either one.
I'll second
And you did hear her say at 6:44 PM.
All in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye.
You can't vote, you vote me.
I'm here now.
You're here for.
I was here all the time.
It's all right, it's okay.
I'm just saying,
I
you
know,
know,
it's all right.
he doesn't get a vote.